Yo, listen up, because some serious stuff is going down at the Steelers training camp and man, nobody's talking about it the way they should be. I'm Jack Romano, a die-hard Yinzer, and the vibe is different today. We've got a big name showing up, a trade that could change everything, an injury, and a huge return. But in the middle of it all, I have to ask you one thing. Is this team gearing up for a legit playoff run, or are we just fooling ourselves again? The truth is, there's stuff happening behind the scenes, and if you bleed black and gold, you'll want to know. So, you ready? All right, my fellow Steelers Nation, before we get into the details of this Thursday's team updates, just a quick favor. If you dig this kind of breakdown, hit that subscribe button. It helps the project grow and keeps this passionate Steelers community alive. We're in this together. Man, you blinked and the guy turning heads at training camp is none other than Jaylen freaking Ramsay. Yep, that's right. The dude who was in Jacksonville, shined in LA, put in work in Miami, and now he's rocking the black and gold of our Steel dynasty. And look, the man arrived with a different energy. During drills, Ramsay had a $5 bill taped to the back of his shoulder pads, like a customized shield with a 5 spot, symbolizing the number 5 jersey he's gonna wear here. And that's what I'm talking about. That kind of attitude, that swagger, that cocky way of stepping onto the field already changes the mood, man. This is the type of player who doesn't just play, he changes the team's entire feel. Even at 30 years old, Ramsay is still one of the most dangerous corners in the league. 5 interceptions, 16 passes defended, and 6 tackles for loss in 2 years with the Dolphins, and that's not even counting the respect he commands just by lining up on the other side. And now he's practicing in Latrobe, putting pressure on receivers and bringing a vibe we haven't seen since Ike Taylor was in his prime. You guys remember what that was like, right? Back when our secondary had personality and put fear into people. It's got me fired up in a way I didn't even know was possible, man. Now, of course some fans are asking, Jack, is he still elite? Does he still have gas in the tank? Bro, the answer is in his swagger. The dude is playing like he's got something to prove, and that's the most dangerous fuel a player with Hall of Fame talent can have. But what about you? Do you think Ramsay will be all talk, or will he deliver on the field? Comment below, because I want to get a read on the Yinzer Nation's pulse, because this could be one of the greatest defensive pickups of the last decade, if it works out, of course. But hold the hype because there's more news coming, and the next one involves an old friend of Grandpa Rodgers who might be returning to work with him in Pittsburgh. Yes, my friends, they're cooking something up on offense too, and the name is more familiar than you think. So get this. It looks like Grandpa Rodgers is about to get a new toy. Or rather, an old toy. But one he knows like the back of his hand. Word on the street is that Romeo Doubs is coming to Pittsburgh. And look, I'm gonna be honest, I like the idea. The guy already played with Rodgers in Green Bay, they have chemistry, trust, a connection. And right now, that's worth its weight in gold. The trade would be for a 2026 third-round pick, and man, if that's true, it's a steal. Doubs is in the final year of his contract and, even so, is coming off 2 solid seasons, over 600 yards in each, 4 TDs last year, and an average of 13.1 yards per catch. Are you telling me this guy isn't better than Robert Woods right now? That he's not more reliable than Calvin Austin on third down? Come on. The reality is that after we shipped Pickens away, and I'm still trying to figure that one out, we were left with DK Metcalf on one side and a huge hole on the other. And Doubs? He fills that void with something this team desperately needs, security. A guy who runs crisp routes, who already understands how Rodgers thinks, and who won't get lost on route adjustments mid-snap. And look, he might not be a blockbuster name, but he's the kind of piece that decides close games, you know? That guy nobody covers but who always shows up open on the sideline to move the chains. The type of receiver Big Ben loved having around. And there's more. Green Bay basically gave up on him. With the arrival of rookies Matthew Golden and Savion Williams, and the growth of Jaden Reed and Wicks, Doubs became expendable over there. For us, that's pure opportunity. The question is, will Omar Khan pull the trigger? Because if he does, that Rodgers-Doubs duo could be a lot more trouble than it looks on paper. Now I want to know, would you accept this trade, or would you rather hold on to the pick and bet on the guys who are already here? Tell me in the comments because this is one of those that'll divide the fan base. And hold on tight because more news is coming. The defense might get a surprise reinforcement from Seattle. And it's not just any name either. He's a former fourth-round pick, a big dude, hungry, and wanting to prove he still has gas in the tank. Let's go. Check out what's happening behind the scenes on our defense right now. The Pittsburgh Steelers are going to work out defensive tackle Cameron Young, former Seahawk, 6'3", 315 pounds, a monster in size and, if he's healthy, a heck of a reinforcement for our D-line. And you know why he's coming? Because Esezi Otomewo, who was standing out in camp, ended up hurting his knee during a goal line drill. And man, it hurt to see that. The guy was starting to show something and, bam, injury. Tomlin was even reserved in the press conference, said the knee is being evaluated, that the rest are just normal practice knocks, but anyone who knows this team knows how those evaluations usually end. So the guys were quick and scheduled a workout with Cameron Young for Thursday. And look, he's no superstar, but he's got pedigree, was a fourth-round pick in 2023, started every game at Mississippi State in 2022, has experience with the Seahawks, and even spent a few months on the Packers roster. Now, he's also coming off an injury. He was on IR last year, so the question is he ready to handle the grind of our system? Because there's no easy ride here. A guy has to sweat blood to earn a spot. And the defensive line, which isn't the same steel curtain of the old days, needs depth, especially if Otomewo is out for weeks. Remember when we had Casey Hampton, Aaron Smith, Brett Keisel? That was a wall. Today, the rotation is shorter, and any loss weighs heavily. And man, it's not just a matter of names, it's a matter of identity. Our defense's Iron City grit starts right there in the middle. Without pressure up the middle, without stopping the run, everything falls apart. So if Young shows that he's whole, that he can occupy two gaps and go head-to-head with a 330-pound guard, I say, sign him now, give him some snaps, and let's see what happens. But then there's that dilemma, right? Is it worth betting on a guy who was cut by two teams in less than 6 months? Or do we look for another solution? Tell me, Yinzer Nation, would you take the risk? As a fan, I'd rather see the guy sweating it out here than waiting for a miracle from the practice squad. And since the topic is recovery, hold on because there's good news coming. A super important starter, who was out since the beginning of camp, has finally been cleared. And man, this changes everything on offense. Come with me to the next block. Finally, some good news, huh? After so many injuries, trades, speculation, we have the kind of news that warms the hearts of the black and gold pride. Isaac Sumalo is back, my brother. Number 73 has been activated from the non-football injury list, and that changes the entire game. Literally. For those who forgot, he was out at the start of training camp with a soft tissue injury according to Tomlin, but now he's cleared to practice and get ready for the year. And man, this guy is a key piece. He's not just a guard. He's a silent leader, an engine that pushes this O-line forward with consistency, intelligence, and that toughness that only a guy who has played in a Super Bowl knows. Sumalo was one of the few who played all 17 games last year, and he had the honor of earning the first Pro Bowl nod of his career. This was after missing the first 4 games due to that pectoral injury in August 2024. And even so, he came back in Week 5, fit in like a glove, and kept the line at least minimally alive while the whole team was trying to find their footing in the chaos. Remember that? It was at that moment that the run game with Najee even started to get going again. And it wasn't a coincidence. The man understands the game. Sharp pre-snap reads, clean technique, zero fluff. And on top of that, he has a history, man. Super Bowl champ with the Eagles in 2017, over 80 games in the NFL, and brings a standard of professionalism that fits perfectly with the Rooney standard we talk about so much. And with Rodgers now at the helm, this line has to be perfect because the old man won't be able to handle pressure up the middle. Sumalo's return means stability on the left side and takes some pressure off Dan Moore Jr. and the new center, whoever that may be at the start of the season. I just hope the staff takes it easy on his return, no putting the guy in full contact unnecessarily. Let him get into rhythm, come back on his own time, and be 100% for Week 1, because without him, this offense falls apart. With him, we can dream of something big. Now, I want to know from you, Does a healthy Sumalo change the level of this offense, or is the O-line still our Achilles heel? Let me know in the comments. Share your perspective, because the opinion of the Blitz Brotherhood matters a lot here. And hold on tight, because now it's time for us to tie everything together and ask the question nobody wants to answer, but everyone feels in their gut. Dude, look at everything we talked about today. Jaylen Ramsay bringing the swagger to training camp, Rodgers potentially reuniting with an old partner, the defense looking for solutions even with injured players, and the return of a starter who changes the weight of the entire line. This team is cooking something up, and I don't know about you, but I'm getting that 2005 butterflies in my stomach feeling all over again. Is it for real? Can this mix of talent and grit take us far? If you still feel that terrible towel fire, hit that like button and answer this. Is it still okay to dream in Pittsburgh?